You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Top prospect Jaylen Scott flips his commitment from Florida State to Auburn. This is a big one for the Tigers. Let's go. Up-tempo gang, Auburn family. We got a big one today. Monday was a good day for Hugh Freeze. Early on, he picks up a commitment from the 2026 class running back out of Mississippi, Eric Perry. And then a few moments later, Jaylen Scott, safety out of Mobile, Alabama, flips his commitment from Florida State to the Auburn Tigers. Jaylen was originally committed to Florida State in January, and then he flips his commitment today, June 9th, 2025, to Auburn, stays in state, becomes Auburn's first commitment of the 2027 class. We know how important it is to get kids out of Mobile. If Auburn wants to win, they got to win a couple of these battles in the 2-5-1. So it's big time that way. And Jaylen Scott's primary recruiter was TJ Rushing. He spoke a lot about how important TJ was in his recruitment, that relationship. So we know that TJ, new to the staff, probably was going to take him a little bit to get some relationships established while he was at Auburn. He's been working on Jaylen. He gets the job done here, ultimately getting the flip. And this is a big prospect. This isn't something that you should just kind of brush off to the side just because he's 2 years away from even being in college. He's still got 2 years of high school left being a prospect from the 2027 class. But this kid's an absolute ball player. I just did the film breakdown for our members, and there's so much that stands out. His IQ to only have played 2 years of high school ball is unreal. He has a play where he turns his hips inside as the quarterback's kind of looking to throw an inside slant. Maybe it was like a little bit more of an in route, but the quarterback kind of looks inside. Jaylen flips his hips in. Quarterback goes to turn back outside. That was Jaylen's whole point. He was setting the quarterback up for that the whole time. By the time the quarterback goes to throw the out route, Jaylen's already there. He intercepts it. He house calls it to the end zone for 6. It's a nice play. Go back and watch the huddle if you haven't. And it's really, really impressive. And that's the second thing is the home run ability, the dynamic ability that Jaylen has as an athlete. There are so many plays on his tape that pop, whether it be special teams. He's got some big plays on offense, just taking some screens to the house, taking some, deep balls on 3rd and long. They just throw it up to him and he goes and gets it. There's a play where the ball was fumbled, and Jaylen's probably 15 yards away from the ball when it's fumbled, and the ball's kind of dead on the sideline. The burst, the IQ, the angle that he has, that he knows to take, the burst of speed, he gets to the ball, he pulls it up as he's kind of falling out of bounds and gets possession, gets his feet, maintains his feet in bounds as he maintains possession, and then he falls out of bounds. It's an incredible play, and there's just so many plays that pop, and he also has that ability to be around the ball at all times, whether it's forced fumbles, PBUs, interceptions, making big plays on kickoff coverage, on punt coverage, making big plays on punt return, kick return. He's just always making plays, or he's always around the ball on plays where he just didn't necessarily quite get there and he didn't make the play. He's still right there. It reminds me a lot of Robinson Therizi. A little bit undersized, but plays with this tenacity. And it just seems to always be around the play. You look up, remember, you will look up and you're like, there's 27, there's Robinson. There's a lot of that in Jaylen's game, but Jaylen's a more dynamic athlete than Robinson. So I'm not making that like as an exact comparison, but I see a lot of similarities there in terms of like ball hawk, just tenacity, always being at the ball. But Jaylen is just next level when it comes to athletic ability, when it comes to burst. And he's a guy that I think when he comes onto Auburn's campus, he can do some things to contribute day one. He's a dynamic punt returner. Once the ball is in his hands, you better watch out. Whether he's picking up the fumble, whether he's intercepting the ball, or it's on special teams. Anytime that Jaylen Scott touches the ball, it might go to the house. He's got that kind of the quickness, that kind of agility, that kind of vision, and just that kind of burst. When you're watching the tape, you say to yourself, man, if he's only a sophomore and he continues to progress, this is an NFL talent. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that every time. Jaylen Scott has NFL potential. He's that good. I want to take a look at his stats real quick and get a couple of quotes from him. His stats for last year. As a sophomore, he totaled 107 tackles from the safety position. So I talk about always being around the football. 107 tackles from the safety position, 12 PBUs, and 4 interceptions. And some of these interceptions are really impressive. He's also playing for former Auburn Tiger Antonio Coleman. A lot of us remember Antonio fondly, right? He was a great player for Auburn, played the game the right way. So you got to imagine that Antonio was in Jaylen's ear. Okay, man, Auburn wants you. And then once TJ got over there and really kind of pushed it, they were able to make it happen. So having a former Auburn Tiger that is a fan favorite and Antonio Coleman as your head coach obviously didn't hurt. And you gotta keep the in-state kid, the number 5 prospect in the state. You gotta keep him in state. And Auburn was able to do it. So again, 107 tackles, 12 PBUs, and 4 interceptions. He also has a couple of forced fumbles. Just a big-time playmaker, always around the football. He told Auburn Undercover at Auburn 247 Sports. He said, I just love the coaches, the environment, and the culture is everything. I love it top to bottom. Coach Rushing was huge in my recruitment. He's been through me with this whole thing from start to finish. And talking on his love for Auburn, he says, Auburn was my parents' favorite school. It's always been a top school for me as well. It's very special. I remember dreaming about this when I was a child. I used to watch the games, watch the Iron Bowls in front of the TV every time it came on. This is a blessing. I dreamed of playing in that game. I'm very excited. I'm the first one to be committed to this class, so that brings a lot of responsibility. And he says, just stay tuned, Auburn fans. Big things are coming. And big things are coming, because another thing about Jaylen that really stands out is this kid loves to hit. This is one of the more physical DBs Auburn's recruited in the last couple of years. And Auburn's had some hitters. I remember watching Caleb Harris's tape and thinking to myself, this kid's going to get some targetings because the kid just loves to hit. There's a lot of that in Jaylen Scott. He gets downhill and he's not scared to hit. It's almost unfair on some of the punt returns when the guys on punt coverage miss their block and Jaylen's just running unimpeded to the returner. He took a couple of heads off. He took a couple of quarterbacks' heads off to try to cut up field and make something of it. This is a very physical ball player in not the biggest frame, but it's just, again, the tenacity, the determination, the will, the guts. He's a fun football player to watch. And so I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to getting up to Mobile in these next 2 years and watching him develop. Definitely going to get up there next year and get tons of content on him for you guys. And the ceiling for Jaylen is really high. And right now, he is currently ranked as and if I've already said this, I apologize. He is currently ranked as the 90th player overall and the number 9 player at his position, safety, and the number 5 player in the state, according to 247 Sports. So, and every other service is high on him as well. Everybody has him as a 4-star. So this is a big get, and getting him as your first commitment of 2027. I think that's pretty big too, because ball players know ball players, and anybody in that 2027 class is going to be familiar with Jaylen Scott's game and just how elite and dynamic he really is. And when that's the first guy you have in the boat, and he's able to, start recruiting for your class and bringing other guys in, I think that's big time as well. Having a highly sought after player like this to be the first commitment of the class to kind of get us established, get it off on the right foot, you got to think that can only help out Auburn. And the final point I want to make here is simple: Mobile, Alabama. Auburn's got to get 3 to 5 commitments out of Mobile, as long as there's that many guys in Mobile that are capable of playing in Auburn, and I don't think there ever won't be. It's just so much talent in that area. Auburn's got to win the 2-5-1. So not only did you flip him from Florida State, but now you've got a guy in the boat. 2 years is a long time. I understand it. Alabama will probably come calling. They're going to want to keep this kid in state. Georgia might come and try to get him, to go over that way. But if you're Auburn, you got him in the boat. Now they got to flip him. They got to flip him from you. And Auburn has really built up a history here of putting defensive backs in the NFL and developing defensive backs. You look at all the guys right now on the roster; they're all young. Last year was the first time in a little bit that Auburn didn't have a defensive back drafted. That's just because the guys that are going to get drafted are young. The Jalen Crawfords of the world, right? The Caleb Harrises of the world. So the K and Lees. So this is he's just going to continue that tradition. And he mentioned watching Auburn his whole life, it being his parents' favorite team. Well, he's seen Auburn throughout his childhood develop defensive backs and put them in the NFL. And you got to think that when he came and worked out for the coaches this weekend, and anytime he's talked to Auburn staff, TJ's probably been letting them know, hey, man, look at the names. Like, we put guys in the league. And if you come to Auburn and you play solid in the secondary, you have a very good chance of going on to the NFL. And so ultimately, Auburn's able to sell him on it. He flips his commitment from Florida State to Auburn. And I think that this is going to be a big time get for Auburn. When you have 2 years, you see it now with guys like Jermichael Garrett. You see all these other teams starting to come and get him. Shadarius Tootle. You see Georgia pushing hard for Tootle. It's tough. And some people are going to just kind of poo-poo it and push it to the side and say, who cares about a 2027 kid? He's got so long. I care. I care because this kid is a freaking football player. And if a team is going to come flip him, they got to come flip him from you. So you've got that relationship established. TJ's got that relationship established. Auburn's in there right now for one. I'm really, really excited for this kid. I really am. I think that Jaylen has the potential to be a 5-star by the time he's a senior, or at least a top 50 player. I don't really see a world where Jaylen doesn't finish up as a top 50 player. The kid is absolutely dynamic. He could do anything he wants to on the football field, and I'm very excited to see him do it for Auburn in a couple of years, as long as we get across that finish line. So, and if you're interested in the film breakdown and just how you can get a hold of that, be a part of the community that we're building right here at the Uptempo Podcast, you can sign up for the memberships. $3.99 a month JV squad, $5.99 a month varsity squad. You see everything that it entails right there on the screen. Sign up for this today because more commitments are coming. We ain't done yet, baby. Auburn is not done yet. I promise you more are coming. I'm looking for some more offensive linemen to jump in the vote sooner than later. And when that happens, I will get the film breakdowns up for you guys immediately. We had 2 today. I'm recording this on Monday. We had 2 today. The film breakdowns are already up for both of our members, and we have a little bit of insight into the recruiting, kind of how it went down and what it means for Auburn going forward and all that as well. So if you're interested in that kind of content, sign up today. If you don't want any part of memberships, I just appreciate you watching the show, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Share this out on social media. Let everybody know that we got big things going on over here at the Uptempo Podcast. Sub to the channel if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one. I love you. I appreciate you, War Damn Eagle. I'm out.